1, 2, 3, and action. Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Kaz. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you for trusting me through this journey of content creation. Let me tell you, if anybody is thinking of becoming a content creator, it is not for the easily queasy. This job is tough, but it's 2021. This is my first video of the year, and I just wanted to say I'm back. I don't know. I feel like I'm back, like into my body, into myself, and I feel like 2020 was like very autopilot. I don't even know how I got half the things done in 2020, but I'm here now, and I wanted to do a get ready with me video while we can discuss some of the plans that I have for this year. One of the reasons I'm doing this is so that I can hold myself accountable, so at the end of the year when I come back to this video, I can remember all of the things that I said that I wanted to do, because I am a master manifester. I'm beginning to figure out what my strengths are when it comes to manifesting stuff. I've seen all of the things that I've manifested for myself, even in 2020 when things were really hard. One of them is beautiful relationships, which we're going to get into. I know some of you guys want to know all about that juicy stuff, so we'll talk about it a little later while I do my makeup. Also, just a big shout out, like I've said this before if you've seen the video, I'm a huge true crime fanatic, and one of my favorite YouTubers, her name is Bailey Siren, and she's actually the one who inspired me to do my video like this today, because I woke up this morning and I watched one of her true crime videos. I love me some true crime. I don't even know where that thing came from. It was a newly discovered love in 2020, and now I want to find all the true crime possible. So if you guys are true crimies, please just like in the comments below, let me know what kind of true crime you like. And today we're just gonna do like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not really a makeup artist. I just love doing makeup, so I'm gonna do a little bit of like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll be inspired by like the colors behind me or whatever. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I've seen a lot of makeup artists who do their brows off camera, and I've always wondered if it's because they don't want people to see how they do their brows. Can somebody please tell me whether I need to get these brows done? I barely have any hair. I barely have any hair. You can't, like, the difference between me now and me after is going to be so spectacular. Let's talk about like a little bit about what last year was like. Oh wow. I feel like I spent most of 2020 in my bedroom, in my bed. I was very depressed. It was a really hard time for me. I'm still sort of like coming out of the depression now, but it's not completely over. And it was just hard. It was hard to think of a future. It was hard to think that anything was going to go well. It was just like I was really, really very depressed. And even manifestations were hard, even though I know I am a master manifester. So anything I say, and believe and write down is possibly going to come true. One of the things that I manifested last year was a relationship. I actually did a video about it. And now to manifest a few things for my future partner. I'm looking for somebody who is like me. I really am. I want somebody who is charismatic. I do really want somebody who's in sex work in whichever way. I want somebody who's queer, who's openly queer. I do want somebody who is polyamorous, and I want somebody who's kind. Sense of humor is the greatest attribute for me. I want somebody who like I can sit and talk to for hours. All of the things that I asked for in partners that I wanted came true. It was like magic, no pun. So I'm really excited about where I am on the love front. I was able to manifest beautiful relationships. One old. I got back together with one of my exes, and I just felt like when we were together, we were sort of dating. I don't know how to explain it. I haven't figured it out yet, but we've been together for almost 4 years. We've been talking and just like spending a lot of time together, visiting each other. We weren't extremely intentional about that relationship like over the past couple of years, and this time around we've made the decision to be a lot more intentional about it. We're both in different places in our lives. We're both like really working to make it work. Like work, the work you put into a relationship. So that's some of the things that we're doing. And one of the things that I wrote on my dream board in 2019 going into 2020 was do nothing without intention. And that phrase really stands out for me. Like, make sure that there's an intention before you set your mind to anything, because that way you know the reason why you're doing things. If you take a job, like what is the reason that you want the job for, even if you don't like a lot of us get into jobs that we don't like because we're trying to make ends meet. So just think about it and be grateful for that job, that you have it, because the job is allowing you to pay your rent, and it's allowing you to maybe even save some money so that you can save money to do the thing that you really want. A lot of us really want to have our own businesses, and owning a business is not for everybody. I've said this before a few times. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and I have friends who are just like, I'm not about that life. I'm happy to be a really good employee and earn a salary and then get a pension fund and retire and build my house or whatever. And I'm just like, if that's your thing, do you? But be knowing what it is you're doing, right? Like, be really intentional about what you're doing. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. I can tell you that for free, especially because I've only ever had one job, and I only worked there for 1 year. Actually, it was less than a year. It was like 10 months, and I was like, miss me. So one of the intentions that I set for myself earlier on, because I do remember that in 2020 I did a celibacy thing. So I was celibate the whole of 2020. I was celibate in 2020 for the whole year. Actually, I was celibate for almost exactly 13 months. And that was really such a game changer for me. How do people do their makeup and do videos at the same time? I'm so confused. So I did the celibacy thing for 13 months. I manifested a partner that I want. And the reason that I did celibacy was because I really wanted to find somebody who was wanting to be in a relationship with me. Because prior to that, I had been having flings, which it's fine. I don't shame. Please be knowing, I'm not here to shame. I'm here for all of that kind of sex that you want to have, as long as it's safe. But I was beginning to feel that it was taking a toll on me. And also lying, because of one of the things that I'm really getting into. I need to learn how to finish sentences. I literally have said 3 sentences and none of them have completed. But one of the things that I've been really getting into is attachment styles. I've been reading a lot about different attachment styles, trying to figure out which I am and the reasons why people have certain attachment styles. And it's usually based on how you're raised, or like what kind of household you grew up in, and so on and so forth. So like, by understanding that, which I only just recently started understanding, I've really understood how my attachment style was the problem with my relationships, because I was not obviously, but I'm like a fearful, anxiety, attachment type of person. And one of my biggest fears in relationships is a fear of abandonment. And so that is also one of the reasons why I am polyamorous, because polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous people, please look up these terms. Don't let me do the work for you, because if you haven't been following me for long enough, then I've done the work. Just do the work yourself as well. Thanks. Ethically non-monogamous and polyamorous people, I find, live way more healthier, and this is not everybody, this is not a general term, but for the most part, a lot of the people who I have met in the lifestyle scene, whether it be it like the BDSM and kink world or the ethically non-monogamous world, a lot of those people are, for the most part, obviously, again, I'm generalizing, are very honest and open with everything. Whereas I found, like, in my monogamous relationships, I found that people were just like really secretive. People want to hide. People want to cheat. It's the norm. But then with ethical non-monogamy, it's just like, even if I choose to, even if I am ethically non-monogamous, but I choose to be with one partner, and they choose to be with multiple partners, there's an honesty that I expect from my partners in that scenario. I know that I'll get it because we have decided that we're going to be completely honest and open. And that's the thing with these ethically non-monogamous relationships. They're really trusting. All of the ethically non-monogamous relationships that I've had in the past have been really honest for the most part, obviously. Not entirely, because human beings are human beings also at the end of the day. And I can't say that I've been entirely honest as well. But yeah, I like the honesty. I really enjoy the communication. You know, a lot of times, like, if I was ever dating like a hetero man, a lot of times I would find that, like, you know, when it's time to have conversations about the way I feel or the way I feel about something that they did or whatever, then those conversations would be really hard, and I'd find that there would always be pushback. So it was a lot harder for me to navigate that kind of communication, and it's the kind of communication that I've always wanted in my relationships. So I'm in this new relationship. So far it's going really well. I really love my triad, my little throuple. We've been together for 2 months now. It's really new and wonderfully like honeymoon phase-ish kind of. Except I must tell you, even in this honeymoon phase, let me tell you, we were dunked into the deep end. Our relationship just started in fire. So there's a lot of personal things that are happening in all of our lives at the same time, and just trying to find different ways to navigate our romantic relationships, keeping these things in mind. And these things keep popping up because it's life, and that's just what life does. But like, let me tell you, them coming to visit me in January was such a fluke. It was a fluke. It wasn't anything that was planned. It just literally happened. It was just like, there was a family emergency, and that's all the details I can give you, obviously. We got to spend time together for the first time. Can you believe that I was meeting Magic and Dame for the first time when they came to see me in January? So let me just give you a little bit of the backstory on this. I should probably do my eyeshadow first and get that out of the way. Yes, okay. So backstory on the relationship. Magic and I have been talking for a while because we're basically in the same line of work. We're both content creators. Magic is a drag king. And the reason that I was introduced to Magic is because a friend of mine who used to live in North Carolina knew of Magic and introduced us online, saying that, you know, hey, there's a Kenyan who lives in DC, in the DC area, who's a drag king and who's doing sex work. Might be good for you to interview them for your podcast. So I started following Magic on their social platforms, and we started talking and DMing each other. And it's just like, oh my God, you're a Kenyan. And they were like, oh my gosh, you're a Kenyan who's part of the queer space and blah, blah, blah. I would really like to get more in touch with that queer space. And so I was like, this is great, let me interview you for my podcast. And actually, to be honest, I want to do a re-interview with Magic because I feel like I didn't bring my best out in that interview, and I know that I can bring more out of Magic than I did when I did the initial interview. And I think we were both a little nervous because I was definitely physically attracted to them, and then the work that they did was just like really just like, you're a Kenyan out there doing the good, you're doing the work. So I'm here for it and I support it. And it was just like, it was magic. I'm gonna pick a palette, and then I'm just gonna use the colors in this palette. Between this Morphe palette and this Joanna K palette. Okay, let's go. So 2 years ago, Magic and I met, and I recorded a podcast with them, which was really cool. We had so much fun. And we kind of were attracted to each other at that point, obviously because of the work that we both do, and I was in awe of the work that they do, and vice versa, I hope. But yes, they have told me this a couple of times, so I know. You know, we started talking, and we talked about like our different ideas of what a relationship is. Magic was you might know this, Magic was already in a relationship with Dame. They had been dating at that time for about 6 months. Magic and I started talking about, ethical non-monogamy. And at the time, their partner, Dame, was only really, like, the rules that they had set for themselves in their relationship was that they were only going to have play partners, and that's how they were going to experience their ethical non-monogamy. So with that, they decided that anybody that they were going to link up with was going to be for play purposes only. And so Magic approached me with I'm really keen on having a play partner. And I was just like, I don't know, it's really hard, not impossible, but hard to start a relationship with somebody and just like jump into sex, especially if it's long distance. Like I said, not impossible because it's happened to me before. I've had a play partner who I've never met in person. And I was just like, maybe, no. We talked about it. We went on dates. Magic asked me out on a couple of virtual dates, which were really cool. I think I posted them on our Instagram page, like letting people know, like, this is so cute. I really like this, that they're doing this. And then, we started getting to know each other a little better. We formed a friendship. And in 2020, I think obviously the year was really hard for a lot of people, but like Magic was tanking with their mental health. I was tanking with my mental health. But for whatever reason, we were able to be there for each other during our dips. Magic was such a great support for me when I started tanking, and then I kind of went off grid for a couple of months, and they were like, you know what, it's cool, I'm gonna be here when you come back. And Magic was one of the first people that I reached out to when I came back up for air, and they were really supportive, and it was just like, it was really cool and beautiful. And then at that point, like towards the end of last year, is when I started to develop feelings for them. So that's what happened there. And then I asked if they were interested in being in a relationship with me. And I also at the same time started having conversations with Dame, like separately. And I started developing, I was just like, Dame is hot. Maybe we can just like try and be a throuple. This is me, I like shooting my shot. And so they both said, yeah, let's see how it goes. So that's where we are now, in this really beautiful relationship. I know it's only been 2 months of us relating, but I've known Magic for 2 years, and I'm just getting to know Dame now. And I'm really excited about what this relationship could mean for us, or what the future holds. Whew, this is going to be a hard year for us on a personal front. For a lot of people, I know this. But we're just going to take each day as it comes, and we're going to try and just be better and do better, and just hope that everything works out for good. And that's that relationship. So if you guys are interested in seeing more content from the three of us, I actually do have like a vlog that we filmed when we were in Nanyuki, and that was a really cool vlog, which I'm gonna post. I think it'll be the first vlog after this, so I'll post that. If you guys want to see more content of us, please let us know. We have done a couple of lives on Instagram, and we're really keen on doing more stuff together. Dame is a sex therapist, also a burlesque dancer. Magic is a behavioral therapist for children in the autistic spectrum, and also a drag king. And I am a sex educator and also a pole dancer. And so we all kind of have different aspects of sex work in our thing. So we have so much similarities, but we also have a lot of differences. All that is to say, if you want to see more content, please let us know. We are happy to share our lives. I I feel like our shit would be really funny. You know, I didn't add a transition color and I went straight into this crazy green, and now I don't know what I'm gonna do with the top of my eyelid. I know that in the last couple of videos I've been asking you guys if you want to see stuff. I really want to follow up on that this year. Don't think I've left you guys like blue ticked or anything. No, I promise I'm going to honor my word, and I am gonna give you guys all of the things that you said you wanted. Please be sure to follow at the Spread Pod on Instagram, and in my bio on Instagram I also have a Ask Me Anything form, which I like to push on people because that way all of my questions are directed in one space, which I kind of prefer than, you know, people sending me DMs and stuff like that. That's usually much harder. If you want to ask anything, if you want advice, if you want, particularly advice, that's the place to go. So what are some of your manifestations for 2021? I'd like to share a few of mine. A lot of them I do like to keep personal, just so that I can surprise motherfuckers. It's like, surprise! But one of the things that I really want to get into this year is to create more merchandise for the spread. I think we need to be selling all of the stuff that I know is not readily available. I'm looking into like partnering with certain people to do like certain types of merch. I know that some of you guys are going to be excited about it, mostly because it's sort of like from the kinky sphere. If you are keen on that, or if you think there's anything that you can't, that's specifically that you can't find, because I really want to do stuff that's not available. Like for example, we don't have much lube in Kenya, so I'd like to partner with somebody who is doing more lubes. I want to do more condom partnerships. I want to do more dental dam stuff, like protective barrier stuff for sex. And I don't know what I'm doing right now with my eyes. I kind of like that. It looks nice on the camera, but like in real life I look like a fool. Those are some of my manifestations. I'm trying to create more regular content, so I'm trying to get people to help me with my content. That's just going to be super helpful. And then obviously I really want to have more merchandise, more of the fuck you pay me t-shirts, more just wonderful stuff that you guys can rock and be like, I'm proud to be a spreader. Ooh, maybe I should just get a t-shirt that says I'm proud to be a spreader. Also, thanks for this Fenty blush kit. This is from my bae. And one of the things that I really want to focus on this year is like a theme. I like to be thematic with my content. Even though the grand theme of the spread is decolonizing sexuality, I still want there to be a sub-focus. So this year, one of the things that I really want to focus on is creating content about consent. It actually makes me so excited. This specific topic is one of the subjects that I really want to be integrated into the Kenyan school curriculum. So if you have any questions around that would be really great. And just so that we're clear, not just sexual consent in every area of your life. I think it's really important, like for content creators, to ask people, like if they walk into an establishment with their camera, to ask people if they're okay being filmed. There's a lot of people who don't ask for people's consent, and there's people who don't want to be on camera just, you know, randomly on somebody's YouTube channel. One of the conversations that I've been having a lot of recently is conversations around consent with children and how parents are raising their kids, but more so allowing them autonomy of their body. So for example, hugging. Like, why do we force our children to hug people that they don't want? And the worst thing about it is a lot of people that I know have experienced assault and sexual abuse at a young age as children. And so if you need to trust your child enough not to force them to hug somebody or to kiss somebody. And there's those people who walk into the house and are just like, oh, there's auntie so-and-so, uncle so-and-so, you know, hug them, kiss them. I'm really curious about like how you guys are having conversations with your kids about this. But more than that, I'm really curious, like one of the questions that I like to ask is like, what do your kids' bath times look like? Are you washing your own children? Do you allow the house help to do it if you have one? Like, what does bath time look like to you? I know that there are people who have experienced sexual assault and probably don't even realize it until later on in their lives, but coming from their house helps. And children don't know things until a lot later, and you're wondering why certain things are causing you to have certain reactions. Like, one of the things for me is that I actually get scared to be in a room with men, and that's just because of my own childhood trauma. So I get it, and I like to ask the question all the time to parents. Is just like, is that a thing? Like, I think about that all the time when I think about my nieces and my nephews. I'm just like, it's just a thing that that is constantly on my mind. How are we doing? I don't know how I feel about these eyes. You know, green has never really been my favorite color. And I feel like every time I put a green eye on, I'm just like, ooh. But we are going to make this work. So back to conversations around consent. Those are some of the things that I really want to get into. Consent with children and how parents have conversations with their children about consent. Consent with preteens and teens and how they can have conversations with each other. So the conversations are supposed to start from the beginning of childhood and go all the way until they're young adults, because this is a new way of integrating conversations around consent with your children, so that, you know, when they're in the kindergarten field, the thing about pushing or hugging, you know, kids usually do that. But can you imagine if a little boy went up to his little friend and was just like, hey, can I hug you? Wouldn't that be super cute? And then to remember to ask somebody if you can hug them for the rest of their lives, instead of just like showing up and hugging them when maybe they don't like being hugged. Then teaching young boys about consent in high school, because a lot of girls are sexually assaulted because boys don't understand, like, the game. It's not a game, or the game is over, or like we were just playing tipo and now things are a little bit different, and just stuff like that. That is really basic knowledge if taught at those cognitive years. It's really important to have these lessons learned at a younger age so that they become habitual. You know, we are the environment that we grow up in. A lot of abusers come from homes where their parents were abused. So how about we try and break that chain as much as we can? Yeah, like everybody just does their best, puts their foot forward, and let's raise a better like nation. One of the reasons that I don't have kids is because I'm terrified of raising kids. I'm terrified of having a child go through anything that I went through when I was a kid. Like, I don't know what I would do to have to put a whole human being through that. But yeah, let me just get done with this eye. I'll be right back. So eyes are done. I decided to add like a black and a yellow highlight, and I hope it's gonna come out proper once everything is done. But I think I've talked a lot about like what my plans are for this year. I really am keen, honestly, to hear what you guys have planned for the year. If 2020 was such a significant year for you that you decided to make changes for yourself, what the new year has in store for you. If there's anything in particular that you would like for me to do, then I am here for it, because I am just creating content for you guys. And in all of this, I want you to keep in mind that if you have somebody that you think would be a really great guest for the podcast, please be sure to submit them and let me know why. So not just because you like, oh my god, I like them and their YouTube channel is really cool. If they're not in line with some of the work that I'm doing, then it's going to be really difficult for me to figure out like why I should interview them. So listen to our season 4, which is the content that I did last year, or listen back to any of the podcasts. Just like listen to the podcasts, guys, and then just let me know if there's anybody you want to hear from, and we are just going to reach out to them. Literally anyone in the world. Yeah, it's a digital world, and the least that I could do is ask somebody to be a part of the podcast, and if they say no, then it's the worst thing that could happen. So I'm usually not afraid of those no's. I'm not afraid to ask people for things that I want. It's one of the things that I've learned in my journey of adulthood and adulting. So just because I have nothing else to say, I'm just going to finish up my face and I'll come back here for like a nice quick goodbye. And that, folks, is my look for today. But check out these lashes. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna leave the house in these lashes. I literally have a doctor's appointment that I'm on my way to. My doctor's gonna be like, okay, this is how you're entering 2021. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me so much. Thank you guys for joining me so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you want more content like this, please let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow us on @thespreadpod on Instagram, actually across the board on Facebook, Instagram. But thank you guys so much. I really enjoy creating and editing videos so much. So if there's anything that you want to see, let me know. Check out the website. We're here to provide content around all aspects of sex and sexuality. We do want to focus on consent this year, but there's a way to incorporate that conversation into anything. So just let me know what it is you want to watch, what you want to hear, what kind of content you want on Instagram. I'm obviously doing this for you guys. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you for staying tuned. Goodbye.